Hey, now when it comes to school lunches, some of our kids' favorite snacks are Goldfish crackers. They also really love taking sourdough. So we thought we would combine the two and make a Goldfish sourdough. It's going to be interesting, so come along for the ride. Now I want to make sure that we get the Goldfish crackers throughout the entire bread, so I'm going to start out with some here and get them into the food processor and turn them into a powder. This here is what 100 grams of Goldfish crackers look like when they're completely pureed here. They are down to essentially a powder, which is what I was after. Now, a quick word about this recipe here. I'm going to be doing everything, first of all, in grams. I'm weighing it out, and yes, I'm going with grams because it just makes way more sense for math. And I'm also going to be giving you percentages based on the baker's percentage, which is based on the flour, or in this case, it's going to be the combination of the flour and the Goldfish cracker powder that I've created here. The reason I'm doing that is because that way you can scale this for any size of recipe, any size of loaf that you want to make, or if you want to double it or triple it or whatever you want to do, I'm doing it like that. I'm not giving volumetric measurements here because they're not nearly as accurate, and I always like to do everything by weight. So if you have a half-decent little scale, it's really easy to do this. So I have my 400 grams here of just strong baker's flour. You can use that, or unbleached all-purpose, anything like that. That's 400 grams, to which I am adding this 100 grams here of the Goldfish powder, and I'm just going to stir it up a little bit here, combine it, just for more even mixing when we go to combine everything. And there we are. I'm going to be combining everything in my plastic proofing bins. I really like these for making sourdough because I find once you're all done with everything and you've scraped out as much as you can, if you let it dry, everything just flakes off, makes for really easy cleaning. I'm going to be starting off here with some filtered water. And I have 350 grams, or based on that baker's percentage of the 500 grams total of the flour and the Goldfish, that's 70%. I've got 7 grams of kosher salt here. You could use fine sea salt, anything like that that's non-iodized, and that's 1.4% of the baker's percentage. I'm just going to let that dissolve here for a second. To that, I'm adding our flour Goldfish mixture here. I'm just going to mix this all by hand here. I did add the salt right off the bat. I don't find that with most of my sourdoughs that there's a big difference in waiting to add the salt after the autolyse. So I'm just going ahead and doing it now and skipping that later step. Here we are fully mixed. I'm just going to cover this up and let it sit. After just a 30-minute autolyse, I am ready to add my leaven here. I've had this going since last night. It is big, poofy, bubbly, and ready to rock. I'm going to be adding 125 grams or 25% with that baker's percentage into this. I'm also going to have the entire recipe with the percentages and the gram amounts in the video description. And then just moistening my fingers here with some filtered water, I'm going to do some pinch and folds to fully incorporate that leaven. Here we are with the leaven fully incorporated there. I found it was a little bit stiff when I was working with it, so I did add probably about another 15 grams of water, just splashing it on with my hands here as I worked it, made it a little bit more manageable. I'm now going to cover it up and let it rest again. After letting this rest for 1 hour here, I'm just going to do a stretch and fold on this dough. It's definitely smelling like Goldfish, which is really exciting here. Can't wait to see what the finished product looks like. With the stretch and fold done, I'm going to cover it back up. I'm going to do another stretch and fold in about 30 minutes, and we'll see what it's looking like. So I wound up giving the sourdough 3 sets of stretch and folds with 30 minutes in between each. It has been actually 20 minutes since the third one, and we are now going to conduct a lamination because I would like to get more Goldfish into this bread. So I'm just going to moisten my hands here again with some filtered water. And we're going to get this out here into a bit of a mat, which will probably take a couple minutes just of playing around with it here. All right, there we are. I have this about as stretched out as I'm going to get it. We'll see how many of these Goldfish I can get into here while being reasonable. This was 100 grams of the Goldfish, so that would be 20%. Again, using baker's percentage based on the weight of the flour and the Goldfish powder that was in it. The trick here is to get roughly that middle third with the Goldfish in it. Sort of patting this down, trying to eliminate some of the air pockets that might be in there. Going to add a bunch more. So into that middle part. And then, why not? We'll get the rest of them onto there. So we did get all 100 grams of little goldfishies into it. And now, just make sure that we're hopefully reasonably covered up. And get this back into our container, cover it up, and let the rest of bulk fermentation take place. I let this continue to bulk ferment here until it was nice and jiggly like this, and it's ready for the next step. This took me about 5 hours just because it's a little bit cooler here in the home right now, but I am going to get this out, we're going to shape it, and we're going to get it into this banneton here. So I'm just going to get some flour on my hands. And we're going to give this a nice shape. A little bit more flour. All right, so I'm just gonna cover this up here, give it a few minutes, and then we will do a final shaping. After a few minutes, I'm just going to do a quick final shaping. This really has not lost any of the shape that it had there. I am going to give it a light dusting here with some rice flour, which I also have inside that banneton, but I just do not want to risk any sticking when it comes to actually baking. So I'm going to get this covered up with plastic and into the fridge. Now, since I'm following my same-day sourdough process, having made the leaven last night and then just working with the sourdough today, this has just had a couple of hours to chill down in the fridge, and I'm actually going to be baking here right away. I've got my cast iron combo cooker in the oven here, preheated at 500 degrees, and we're ready to rock. So I'm just going to get off the plastic here. A little parchment. Flip it onto my peel. It came off nicely. Just going to do a really simple scoring pattern here. And slicing right through those goldfish like they're not even there. And let's just get this into the oven. And with that covered up, we're just going to reduce the heat down to 440 degrees and let it go for 35 minutes. After that 35 minutes, I'm just gonna pop this off, reduce the temperature down to 430 degrees and let it go for another 20 or so minutes. And after 21 minutes, we're pulling this out and we're just going to let this cool down. Here we are, all cooled down. You can see some of those little goldfish cracker chunks coming around this. Let's have a little slice inside and see what we're looking at. So again, we can see we've got goldfish crackers going throughout. Definitely smells like goldfish. Let's see how it tastes. Here we go. I just lightly toasted this to warm it up. Got some butter melted on there. All right, so this is just like goldfish crackers, only softer and chewier. We have all that beautiful, cheesy goldfish flavor going throughout. And of course, that's not just in the parts where you can see actual goldfish crackers. It's all throughout the bread because we incorporated that powdered goldfish cracker into the flour initially. This is going to be an amazing snack. It's going to make great sandwiches. The kids are going to love this. In fact, actually, let's try something else. Oh, here we are. Goldfish sourdough grilled cheese sandwich. Now it's got to get some hot sauce. Hey! Well, there you have it. So a cool way to take some goldfish crackers and just incorporate them into a fun bread. Really good. Just toasted with some butter. I'm assuming the grilled cheese sandwich was good.
It was amazing!
There we are. Pretty simple recipe to do. Give it a whirl, and if you do, let me know how it turns out for you. And until next time, keep it at 11.